Hey, thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate it. Hey, Woke. Hey, Sheed. How y'all doing today? Hey, the Glamazon. How y'all doing? I tried to come on a little bit earlier today um, so that we can have a little conversation. Hey, Elizabeth. Thank you guys so much for coming in for the chit chat. Today, I want to talk about, girl, let me tell you. Okay, Elizabeth, I'm going to let you know. Today, we got in trouble, right? Got me in trouble. Well, he wasn't too upset, but before he went to work today, he told me to make sure that I had a few things done, so I have to make sure I manage my time wisely. So yeah, but today I want to talk about um, abuse, okay? And Elizabeth, let me just tell you what's going on right now. I don't know if you are a member of my private community, but I haven't shared much of the information in there because um, to be honest, a lot of stuff that's going on in this YouTube land is like so far beneath, our vibration if you are a part of that community. And I just didn't want to bring this low level dust girl into that space. But a few months ago, I created a petition in response to some really abusive language that had been issued by Kevin Samuels. And within the last few days, toxic, thank you. Within the last few days, that petition was shared in the YouTube community, and it was like basically picked up, and people have just been talking about the petition that I created 2 months ago. And I um I was not prepared for all of the conversation around it, but um, I want to make sure that we have this conversation. So I'm just rolling with the punches, girl. And with that, I'm having to deal with an influx of messaging on my Facebook page, my Instagram page, through my comments on these videos. I mean, old videos that people in the private community don't even pay attention to. All of this they call them the kitten hill brigade, are going through the comments and just being little kitties. So that's all. I feel in a little while it'll die down and they'll get a life. Okay, so we just have to ignore them or roast them, drag them, either one, until they, get tired. So yeah, that's what's been going on. I have hurt so many men's feelings, girl, and they are so upset. I had no idea that they would be this upset, but they are really mad. And I mean, I don't care. I meant what I said, and I'm saying what I mean. The promotion of domestic violence is like inexcusable. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be tolerated. I have an opportunity to speak up about it. I'm free for a couple weeks. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Like, why are they fighting? If you just go through my comments, why are they fighting so hard to keep the right to be verbally, mentally, and emotionally abusive to Black women? Like, why do they want the right to be that way towards Black women so bad? I don't get it. I just don't get it. So I don't know. You think I'm handling it very well? You're brave and strong to be dealing with these insecure dust mites. Girl, I am not worried about them. I mean, it's really funny to me, to be honest, because they are not focused on the point at hand, on the real reason behind the petition, which is the promotion of domestic violence. They want to talk about everything else going on around it. And it just highlights their pathology on everything else, every other facet of their lives. Like, they focus on everything else but the business at hand and what they need to be taken care of. KD, you see, like, they threatened me, I might as well start a new channel. I'm gonna keep this channel. This channel is just fine. This one is going down, and I highly doubt it. Hey, Lisa Marie, thank you so much for subscribing. Y'all, they keep roasting me because I only have 350 subscribers. I'm gonna do another video about this soon, but the girl who shared my petition the young lady who shared my petition had about 425 subscribers or something like that. She's a new YouTuber, and I wouldn't consider myself to be a new YouTuber, but I just wasn't putting a lot of energy into YouTube. But the two of us are proof that it doesn't take a large number in order to get some traction, in order to get some business done. And if Black men really paid attention to the young lady Cassandra, I'll link her. I'm gonna remember to link her channel in the comments, and please subscribe to her, guys. If Black men paid attention to the fact that a woman with, I think I had like 240 subs when the petition went viral, and Cassandra had like 400 something. But if two women with a very small sub count and following could create all this brouhaha, 10 or 15 or 30 or 40 or 100 good Black men getting together and effecting change in our communities and cities across the country could do amazing things. But instead, they get together and congregate in groups online looking for reasons and opportunities to bash Black women. But two relatively unknown Black women with small followings have kind of shifted the discussion in the last couple days. And it's just a testament that you don't need large numbers to affect change. And Black men really need to take some time and really examine that. So yeah, they are super dusty. But the first day I was so upset. Well, I wasn't upset, but like they were sending me death threats and all kind of stuff, and they still sending me stupid threats, and stuff like that. But the first day it was like, what? Like, how dare you speak to me like that? So I'm gonna try to refrain from calling them bums and dusty, a little bit. I'm gonna try, but if they are bums and if they dusty, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They bums and dusty. They need to get jobs, exactly. But they'll tell you something like they can multitask at work, and sit in people comments, talking crazy. Yes, well, thank you so much, y'all. Please like, subscribe, comment, share the videos, all right? I mean, we out here now. As much as I like to stay behind the scene in my own little world, we out here. We out. So like, comment, share, and subscribe, please. And if you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I go live, okay? So watch Kevin Samuels can say what he wants, but you can't. What happened to free speech? And that's the thing, girl. So many of these bootleg legal scholars are all in my comments threatening me with impending lawsuits and all of this stuff. But what happened? Because Kevin can sit there on his platform and roast Black women up and down. He has built a whole platform with 1 million subscribers and generating income off the backs of dogging Black women out. But for some reason, I can't speak to words that have come directly out of his mouth. Like, how does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? I just want to reiterate that my intention is not to harm him in particular. My intention is to have the conversation. Light needs to be shown on the abusive nature in online communities and in daily life of the Black man. Like, I'm just shining a light on it, and I'm gonna keep talking about it. So I'm not afraid. Okay, as much as they try to bully me, I cannot be bullied. Okay, I'm a big girl, so we gonna make it through. But exactly what happened to free speech? And see, those legal scholars, those bootleg legal scholars that are all in my comments, they don't know the difference between free speech and hate speech. Right? That's what we're talking about. When you talk about inciting violence or promoting violence against a certain demographic, that is the true definition of hate speech. It's actually a crime. I mean, if you want to get technical about it, it's actually a crime. But, that's neither here nor there. Those scholars need to learn how to differentiate between free speech and hate speech. Okay? It'll make them feel better about their inferiority. And you know what the thing is, Lisa? Their inferiority is by choice. Their inferiority is a result of choices they made. It's what they choose to be in 2021. It's what they want to be in 2021. They want to be inferior. They want to be last on the list, obviously. Because, like I just said, between Cassandra and myself, we don't even have 1,000 subscribers between the two of us, and we have shifted the conversation to this degree in just a couple days. Just imagine if less than 1,000 of them got together and worked on a specific and focused goal. Just imagine what could happen, but they don't want to hear about that though. So Kevin Samuels, yeah, can say what he want. Yeah, I got that one. The hypocrisy in my comment section and in on the videos is mind blowing, and it really is. Hold on for 1 second. Hold on for 1 second. Okay. Okay. Yeah, the hypocrisy is crazy. And one thing that is shocking to me is that they don't notice it, or they pretend that they don't notice it. Because I don't believe that Black men are as um unintelligent as they want us to believe they are. I don't believe that. I mean, I don't believe that. Okay. They know they're being hypocritical. Thank you, Lisa. I'm going to continue exposing the dust. Hey, Third Ward. Thank you so much for coming over. What do you mean, Shelly, you're worrying about me? What does that mean? What does that mean? I lost it. Lost the comment. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I want to know what you mean, Shelly, because I read one of your comments earlier, and I don't know where you are as it relates to my goal right now on social media. So if you could help me understand that, I would appreciate that. This channel ain't going nowhere. See, woke be on it, okay? You need copyright strikes and you're not doing anything wrong. So these losers don't know that, and they really don't. Especially, and they don't think Kevin and the whole Black manosphere are not doing anything wrong. Like, come on, get off my page, please. And exactly, they could work together. They work together to collectively hate Black women and to like socially abuse us. I mean, we're gonna get into social abuse in just a few minutes, but they work well at that. They work well at creating excuses and blaming people and pointing the fingers at everybody else except for them. They have created a whole narrative of being victims, and people should feel sorry for them and disenfranchised and stuff. They have a whole narrative around that. But real cognitive thinkers, real critical thinkers, people with real logic don't see Black men as victims. And that's what I was saying in my video about the petition. Black men have no idea how embarrassing they are, like how they're embarrassing themselves and embarrassing us as those who are supposed to be our masculine counterparts. Like, they have no idea how they have embarrassed themselves on the world stage following behind Kevin Samuels. All right. And the getting to the million subs, that was cool to me. Like, I'm not bothered by that. Have 2 million, 3 million, 50 million, have as many subs as you want. But the conversation, like the messaging that comes out of that platform, that's the issue, and if it's negatively targeting a group of women, then we really got to talk about that. I'm not against anybody having a platform per se, but if your platform is promoting violence against me, or people who look like me, it's like, we can't let that slide, okay? So keep my head up. These men are crazy and will go down with their followers like Jim Jones and Trump supporters. Girl, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it, because their time could be so much better utilized in other ways, okay? Yeah, yeah, Lisa. Okay, they fight against Black women, and we're going to get into talking about the social abuse part of it, but they have made Black women the enemy. Like, Black women are the reason why everything is so bad. Yet they can't even work together themselves. Black women can come together and move mountains. However, the only thing Black men can come together and do collectively is hate Black women for the progress that we make. I mean, like, make that make sense. All right. Um, do I have a call in? I sure do. I'll drop the link in just a minute. I just want to talk about the social abuse because I want to introduce that concept on the platform, and then I'll drop the link. All right. Yeah, I watched a lot of Kevin Samuels and I actually liked him, right? I actually do like him. I just don't agree with a lot of stuff that he says. And I think that not only is he immature, but he's allowing his audience to be immature as well. It's not a personal thing against Kevin per se, it's the messaging, and that's something that y'all don't want to accept. All right. Um, Trying to tell them to whoop Black men and then go, yeah, Lisa, tell them. They act like they ain't heard that. But we all know that they've been talking about going overseas to get impoverished women because they can have their way with them. We all know that they've been talking about the control and dominance that Arab men have over their wives by having permission to beat them and yada, yada, yada. And that they believe that they should also be able to do the same things to us. Okay, I don't get it. Um, yeah, the thing is I think that a lot of us listen to his content. You know what? I'm gonna stop going through the comments because I see y'all talking to each other. And if y'all want to say something to me in particular in the comments, then y'all can just add me, okay? I'll be dropping the link in just a second. I want to talk about real quick social abuse. Let me see if I can get that little screen up. All right. So I found this little website. This is just one piece, but I kind of wanted to go through just a little explanation of the concept. And if you research social abuse, you will see how social abuse can be enacted against an individual or group of people in many different ways. Okay, so social abuse is what's actually happening to Black American women from Black American men online. Okay, and the dangerous part of it is that it's spilling over into day-to-day life. And when I say it's spilling over into day-to-day life, it's, in those conversations that men have with other men about the concepts like domestic discipline that Kevin spoke about on his platform. When men have those conversations about domestic discipline in real life, then that's an example of those concepts spilling over into daily life. All right. And when we talk about putting those domestic discipline ideas into action in daily life, that's where, the problem really comes in at. So this social abuse is a behavior that aims to cut you off from your friends, family, or community. All right, we know that the messaging in the community is that Black women as a whole, okay, as a collective, are not good mothers. We don't make good wives. We are the less attractive women. We are the heavier women. We have more attitudes, or we are more attitudinal. Just any negative stereotype or statement you can lodge a group against a group of women. Black men have been spreading those messages about Black women over the past 2 years, I'll say. Just to be generous, or just to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I'm thinking that this manosphere, Negro manosphere, Black manosphere, all of that stuff, that red pill stuff, has been around for maybe 3 or 4 years from ago. It can involve attempts to harm your relationships or your reputation. And that's actually what's going on. There's a desire to cut the Black woman off from her community, to have her disengaged from her community and then ruin her reputation as her reputation and social standing as it relates to those of other races, right? There is a desire to have or an initiative to have the Black woman appear as undesirable to men of other races, right? There's a video that I shared, and the title of that video is "Is This Acceptable?" And there's a speaker on that video that it's just a clip. It opens with the person saying, "We are all you got. You don't have other friends, or basically other allies. So your option is to or get down or stay down," which was a threat, a very lightly veiled threat, but even just the energy of the words was very harsh and very, 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 I don't even know how I can describe it, very isolating. You don't have any other options but to roll with us or get down or stay down, lay down or something like that. Go to the video. I'm not quoting it clearly or accurately. Go to the video and watch the video. But what the message was conveying was that Black women, from a Black man's perspective, we don't have any other options. So we have to deal with what the Black men want to give us and be happy about it. And if we don't deal with it, then we can lay down. Now, I'm just going to assume that lay down means to die. That's just what I assume lay down means. It means either you're going to accept this treatment or we're going to do something about it. Okay. So there is a sentiment online that not only are Black women undesirable, but we are inadequate mates. They want us to feel trapped in the community as it is, and as if we have to find a way to exist within it, within their structure, within their expectations for us. Because from what the video was saying, we don't have any other allies, which means you don't have friends of other races, or no other race of men will want you or take you. So you have to deal with what it is that we are putting down, or you can die, basically. Is what I got from the video. That's my interpretation of it. You go and listen to the video and leave a comment and tell me what you think the message was in that video. All right. But this social abuse is aimed to cut you off from your community, and it's an attempt to harm your relationships or your reputation. All right. This social abuse can be a form of domestic and family violence. And that's what Black women are suffering from right now. Like, a lot of Black women, especially Black women who support Kevin Samuels and call into his shows, or even come in my comments. I got some comments on Instagram today of some little kitties telling me to leave Kevin alone. Like, little like ladies telling me this. I have comments from ladies in the comments defending Kevin and, basically attacking me over Kevin. A lot of women, especially Black women, have become so desensitized to domestic abuse, to unhealthy relationships, that they can't even tell or identify when they're being abused. All right. I don't want to get into mental and emotional, but mental and emotional abuse is definitely happening. In this video, we'll just talk about the element of social abuse, which we all can see is apparent. And just go to my comments. Just go to my comments and you will see just how abusive the Black men are to me and, women in general or whatever. All right. So, what is social abuse? Social abuse is behavior that aims to cut you off from your family, friends, or community. It can also involve a person or people trying to damage your relationships with others. People who are socially abusive may also attempt to make you look bad or ruin your reputation. Social abuse can include things done in the home, in public, over the phone, or on the internet and social media. Tell me that we are not dealing with social abuse as it relates to Kevin Samuels' platform and his followers. Just tell me that. There may be a pattern to the behavior that happens again and again, like those nightly call ins, right? Where we get some lady calling in looking for validation, and she's picked apart. She is made an example of inadequacy. She's laughed at, she's ridiculed, she's virtually slapped, she's virtually saluted. People in the comments are able to laugh and humiliate her even further. And that happens a few times a week. These are behaviors that happens again and again. Sometimes other types of abuse are going on at the same time, and that would be the mental and emotional component of it. So many women in daily life, like I was on a friend's Facebook page the other day, and one of her friends um referred to herself as a six. Like she started her comment, like we were talking about, let's say, um first dates. Okay, we were talking about first dates. And the lady chimed in and said, yeah, because, since I'm a six, I do X, Y, and Z, and I really don't have expectation for A, B, and Z, A, B, and C, because I'm a six, and sixes can't expect, one, two, three. So since we can't expect one, two, three, then I've taken that off my list of requirements or expectations. And the thing is who made up this scale? Like, so many women are walking around now with the effects, the result of mental and emotional abuse by even just identifying themselves as a specific number and feeling like they can't aspire to more than what is allotted for that particular ranking. So when we talk about other types of abuse can be going on at the same time. Simultaneously to this social abuse, there's mental and emotional abuse taking place and happening as well. If this kind of abuse is being used to scare you and control you, it may be domestic or family violence. Okay, these are actual words like that are spoken, that can be considered domestic violence. Okay. Um, so social abuse might include, and when I read this list, I just shook my head. Stopping you from seeing friends or family or people, okay, that wouldn't apply. Not allowing you outside your home, that wouldn't apply. Not allowing you to participate in social or community activities. Think about it. Needing to know needing to know everywhere you have been or are going. Needing to know everyone you have seen or are planning to see. Checking or interfering with your mail, phone, email, or social media. Think about it. Sharing private photos or videos of you online without your permission. Using social media or the internet to spread lies or damaging information about you. Think about it. Telling lies about you to friends or family, or trying to turn others against you. Think about it. Deliberately doing things to make you miss or be late. Deliberately doing things to make you look bad or embarrass you in front of others. Think about it. Restricting access to your car forms of transport. All right. Social abuse can be a form of domestic or family violence. All right. If you or someone you know is experiencing social abuse, it is okay to ask for help. And that is what we are doing on the Goldie Jones channel. Okay. We are asking for help in identifying, recognizing, and ameliorating this social abuse. All right. Who is responsible for this social abuse? It can happen in any relationship. And whether you guys know it or not, those of us who frequent these online spaces, we are in a relationship with each other. Okay? Let's see. People you live with or see often, whether inside or outside the home. None of these people has the right to harm or interfere with your relationships or reputation. All right. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time and go over that and really begin to allow us to begin to think about the environment we are existing in online and really think about what's going on and what's happening to the Black women as a collective online. All right. I am going to put the link in the chat. Yeah, there we go. So if anybody wants to come on up and you know, let's talk for a second. Let's go ahead and get that going. Let me see.
And then you're almost gonna be done.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let me see what y'all saying in the comments because I have been on a different page, so I haven't been able to see you guys over here. All right. But okay, you would take me seriously, Cedric, but you can't because it seems like I'm just making things up. Set up a debate and speak your truth with him directly. Okay, for those of us who have watched his show for a while, and I have probably like the last year or so, we know that a debate is not possible. If Kevin wants to come to my channel or a neutral space, we can do that, but going over there so that I can be slapped and demeaned and belittled and muted and hung up on and saluted, I'm not down for that. And no woman with self-esteem and confidence would be down for that. I'm really surprised by the women who continue to call in because you would do better to call your therapist or call a therapist than to call into his show and find some validation there. The validation that you receive or the answers that you receive pale in comparison to the humiliation that you'll also receive in the process. So, call your therapist. Hey, I got Lisa here. Call your therapist and talk to your therapist. Okay, Lisa, whenever you want to come on up, or if you let me know if you don't want to come up, I'll take you back down. But you're muted right now, okay? But you would do better to call your therapist than to be calling in on his show. All right?
Oh, okay. I didn't want to interrupt you,
Mm-hmm.
but like I know they be talking about single moms talking average at best. Let
Mm-hmm.
me correct this. I'm not overweight. I'm 115 pounds. I'm
Mm-hmm.
20, still young. I'm married,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm all natural. So you
Mm-hmm.
have nothing to use against me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gonna say these men, they need so much help. I feel like they do not want to be told no. They all
Mm-hmm.
want their way to be accepted. They're like, oh, you gotta be submissive, this and that. But they ignore the point of a black woman trying to say, you guys bullied us. You ever since like early 2000s, that's when it started. They started ridiculing our hair. They started saying,
Mm-hmm.
oh, your afro so nappy. Oh, it's
Mm-hmm.
ugly. It's unfeminine. And then they started comparing skin colors, talking about, oh, light skins are better than dark skins. Oh,
Yep.
light skins are this and that. Or if you mix, you definitely know we gonna protect you. We love mixed women. They started it all. But you know what we did for like 2000, 2002, 2017?
Mm-hmm.
And we continue kissing their butts. We begging for their attention, talking about, oh, we want black men to love us. We want
Mm-hmm.
to pay attention to us. But then 2018, we're like, at this point, we don't care anymore.
Yeah.
These gonna show anything to us. We're just gonna go get our degrees. And they even said it themselves. Your skin color guarantees whether or not you get their protection and love. That's what. And then black women like, you know what? We don't care anymore. You can do whatever you want. And then they mad that we don't give them attention and we don't beg for them. And
Mhm.
here they are talking about, oh, you guys are masking, y'all working with white supremacy, but you're the one promoting what white men put on the standard of beauty, which was European features or anything close to whiteness in your own community. So how does
Mhm.
that make sense? They contradict everything. They bullied us. We fight back. Or you're making the black man look bad. No, honey, you making yourself look bad. We're just responding. And the
Ex-
reason I'm talking on this, even though I'm married, is because I have a sister, a dark skinned sister, who is everything that they say they love about a black woman. She's natural.
mhm.
She don't like wearing wigs. She never wore wigs. She's natural. She's shaped like she's a thick woman. Like she's not big thick. Like she's a slim thick woman.
Mhm.
And she takes care of herself. She's nice. She's feminine. She believes in traditional values. But she told me many times that black men said that they would date her, but her problem is her hair and her skin color, and she needs to lighten her skin color, and she needs to straighten her hair. Then they would date her. But
Mhm.
this is the thing that they said they like in a black woman. No, they're
Mhm.
contrary. They don't know what they like, but they want black women to be submissive and feminine and don't call their actions out. They
Mhm.
hate white men, but they hate black women if we say any single thing, call them out. But
Mhm.
but they listen to someone like Kevin Samuels who actually started off correcting them and saying, men, this is what you need to do to be high value, to take care of women. But they
Mhm.
call them all type of slurs. They call them gay.
Yes,
They
they did.
they call them simp. They
Mhm.
everything. But as soon as he saw that, they love bashing their own women, that he
Mhm.
it off them. But they don't see it because it's their godfather. They don't
Mhm.
man is using them for their degeneracy. And this man is not really their godfather. He's just using you because he see your pathology of having hate for your women as
Yeah.
a way to profit.
Mhm.
That's and for the trolls, we don't hate black men.
Mhm.
Tired of fighting for you. We just tired of you bashing our features and contradicting yourself. That's all. We actually want you to be leaders. We actually want you to be the leaders of the community, but we want you to stop. Like we need more step parents, even if it's not your kid. Those kids, they don't deserve that life of those parents putting them in there. We need more step parents to raise kids. We need more building in communities. We need you to stop worrying about what we wear and what like hair we wear and this and that, because there's more important stuff. I heard there's news of white men like beating up black kids, but they don't put more attention to that. They put a black woman hair as an attention. Don't worry about our hair and makeup because that's what
Mhm.
women do. Women do women aesthetics, and we compete with women. We know our status and stats with other women. You don't need to tell us, but we know your stats with other men, but you're competing and comparing with us. We just say you have better things to worry about than our hair and makeup, and
Mhm.
worry about those men, worry about white men, worry about Asian men. They're
Yeah.
literally going to Africa, I think Africa, yeah, and portraying with the women there. Worry about
Mhm.
black men, putting a horrible reputation on you and saying you're weak and this and that. Don't compete with your women. That's just embarrassing. That's just feminine. That's beta, and it's not alpha or omega.
Yeah. Girl, let me give you a hand clap. Okay. Cause you went all the way from A to Z. Okay. Like, I don't understand the competition between from black men to black women. Like, what is the competition for? You guys are the men. You're supposed to be the leaders. The one thing that I really just cringe when I read is, but oh, black women been doing this too, or black women did it first. It's like, grow up. Grow up and set a standard. Like, grow up and set a standard. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand their thinking. And I am sick and tired of the excuse making and the blame shifting. It's like Black women cannot be held accountable and or held responsible for your failures. Like, and the one thing you said that we actually do want them to step up and be leaders. We do. That's why all of this time that I've been listening to Kevin, I've been looking for some solutions, but like you said, his conversation, when it was aimed towards them, it didn't go anywhere. He didn't have 1 million followers or subscribers when he was telling them, how to kind of step up. But until he came on talking about our weaves and our makeup and all of this type of stuff, that's when he was able to kind of, blow up, because the men enjoyed seeing women broken down, ridiculed, and belittled in that way. So I'm just so disappointed that is the position that Black men want to find themselves in. They want to remain and rest in. And I'm not going to be silent on that anymore. I'm not going to be silent on that anymore. And I'm not going to keep allowing these men to make excuses without my little voice in the wilderness to my little 350 subscribers of encouraging them to do better. Black men, you can do so much better. And when you talk about being married and all of this type of stuff, I don't want to tell all of my business, but okay, I have a family, okay? I have a family and I have children, and I'm working hard for my family and for my children. And part of the reason why I feel so compelled and passionate about speaking to Black men in the way that I can today is because one day my baby girl is going to grow up. I mean, my husband is going to, I already talked to him about this, we are going to be very instrumental in helping her choose a husband. But my sons are going to grow up to be men, and it's like, I don't want them to feel like they are special snowflakes, like they're special unicorns, like they are so much different than the other boys who look just like them because they have an education or they have, goals, or they are responsible or accountable. It's just, it's so sad and so disappointing. The reality of the state of the Black American male today and where we see them going, years down the line.
I was gonna say they always be like, "Oh, Black one, Black one, Black one." But when we say something, it's always, "Why are you generalizing all Black men for?" It's not all Black men that do that. Oh wow, you literally doing this hate towards all Black men. It's obvious that we're not talking about all Black men. We're talking about the ones who have that pathology. Not
Yep.
talking about Black men. And the wrong of you to always say, "Oh, not all Black men like this," but you never corrected someone who said Black women, but never said not all Black women like this.
Mm-hmm.
Out
Yeah.
of the U.S., like I'm Haitian, I'm not African American, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm technically Haitian is West Indian. But we have like traditional views, and we value leadership. And my house, it's like that. I'm the one that I don't work. I stay home. I'm pregnant, so I'm gonna be a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
Husband, he's the one that brings the money home, this and that. And I was gonna say, they say you gotta be traditional, you gotta do this and that. But when we say, okay, we'll be traditional, we'll stay home, we'll cook and clean, we'll clean clothes, we'll iron the clothes, we'll take care of the kids, but you'll be in charge of like the money and the housing. They get mad. They say, what do you bring to the table? That's
Yes.
50-50 traditional, it contradicts. You can't want women to be traditional, but you want her to, be in that masculine presence of being with your work. If you want a woman to be feminine, you can't ask her to do your work as a man. She'll be, that's the masculine energy. And for these, I know a lot of these dummies be like, you can't turn off femininity. You can't turn off femininity. Actually, if we look at it, femininity and masculinity all equates to emotions. And last I checked, human beings, whether men or women, have emotions.
Mhm.
And crying or expressing his feelings, that's kind of feminine, as they would like to say. A
Mm.
woman, taking care of kids, that's feminine because she's nurturing. But if she helps you, she's masculine. So
Right.
so you can turn off femininity on and off. And I'm a woman. You can't tell me what I can do or not. If
Mhm.
you be in a masculine presence, you can bet you I'm gonna be more masculine than feminine. And if
Mhm.
you clearly told us you're not gonna protect us, but when we go and get jobs and we don't submit to you, you're gonna cry. You
Mhm.
put us in that position. You can't cry and whine. And last time I checked, black women, not black, like not all black men like this. There's black men, there's Haitian men who value tradition, who love black women, loyal to black women. There's Jamaican men, some of them, who are good and they love black women too. Obviously, not all black men like this. If you're gonna, date out, I would say, date like another black man of another country. They have morals and traditional values and views. So
Mhm.
you don't give up on all black men. I don't hate black men. I know a lot of them gonna be like, oh, single mom. Like I said, I'm married. Oh, but wait, like I said, I'm 115 pounds and I'm literally 5'2". I'm not big and I'm in shape. I exercise.
Mhm.
But like I said, black women, like don't lose all hope for black men. If you're like that type of person who want to date a black man, you could like date out of American black men.
Mhm.
Or divesting, you want to date white men for it. I'm married to a white man,
Mhm.
and it's not that bad. And when they say, oh, not all, oh, white men don't even want y'all the least desired. Trust me, honey, they're the least desired. There's stats that says that.
Mhm.
And we know our status as
Mhm.
women against other women. Know your status as a man against other men.
Mhm.
We good. When they use these manipulation tactics, they want you to continue kneeling for them and submit
Mhm.
to the theology and don't call it out. That's all. But
Mhm.
don't be fearing. Not all black men. No, all white men don't want black women. Trust me, that's bull. Because
It is.
interracial marriage status, at least percentages at all, if that's the case. But there is. Just
Mhm.
the ladies, they fear you dating out because when they're Beckishas and they're Ling Ling and they're Maria Chosaitos, leave them, they're gonna come back to you and
Mhm.
want you to put the pieces and ashes together.
Yeah.
You're the struggle with.
You are so right. Like, that's why I wanted to introduce this perspective on this social abuse, because that's what's happening. Like, they don't want us to feel as if we have options outside of them as Black American men. And you are so right. Like, you don't have to date only Black American men. You can date other Black men that are not Black American men, like you said, because of that element of traditional values. They appreciate and value marriage. We know culturally Black American men do not value marriage. They just don't. They are 53% single, admittedly, at the age of 35 and over. They don't value marriage. And even Kevin himself has been married 2 different times. And I think both of those marriages lasted less than 4 years each. Okay. And he is 52 or soon to be like almost 55 or something like that. Like, they don't value marriage. And as a woman, marriage can benefit you. Like, it is beneficial to have, a leader for your household and, a man that's going to be inside the home, rearing the children. One thing we talked about in yesterday's conversation is one of the little guys came up and said something about Black men. There was a study done, and it was said that Black men are the most involved with their children. Like, Black men have complained for years online and in any other space that they could find that Black women remove them from the home. That's the lie that they've been telling for years. They've been telling this lie since I was about 19 or 20. Okay, I mean, it's been a long time that I've been hearing black men out here saying that black women remove them from the home. And if they have been removed from the home, then how are they the most involved with their children when we know that they aren't in the home because they say that they were removed from the home? So it's like, get you a man who has traditional value. I think that if you want you a black man, get you a non-black I mean a non-American black man, but expand your options. Don't believe the hype and don't believe the lie that men of other races don't value black women. In my opinion, men of other races value black women much, 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 much more than black American men value black women. The thing is that with men of other races, I'm not going to pretend like they are all perfect. What I'm saying is that they do have traditional values and they do see value in you. And if you can sift through the bunch and get you a good one, do that. Like, don't just keep a myopic view of only having, a black man as an option for, your life partner. Because with the reality of their culture, the Black American male culture, you stand a significant chance of being a single mother or never being married because they don't believe in marriage and they don't believe in traditional family values.
Can I just say that whole all
Thank you
black
for the
women?
sub. Hmm.
Oh, oh, I was gonna say, that whole black women took them out the home thing. It
Hmm.
was that even in the 1960s, there was a black woman trying to fight, this whole welfare stuff. She was trying to fight, saying, "Oh, that's not fair to the black man. He shouldn't be kicked out the home." They don't know this now, but there was an actual black woman. There was a black one preaching for them not to be taken out the home and still get help with welfare and this and that. But they won't know this. They just take the whole old black women kicked us out the home thing. And welfare, when they say old black women kick men out to get money, you can't do that. That's not how welfare works. You
Hmm.
you gotta have a certain financial like money. Like if your money don't it's low to a point, you have to get help. Because and the other thing is if the man was so good to them, how come she needed welfare? That means he couldn't support them financially.
Hmm.
Welfare is not, you can't just pick a man out and try to get help from the government and get, money. You
Hmm.
have to qualify. There's this whole list of people waiting to, and you have to fit the requirement. And
Hmm.
the requirement is below a certain household income. But
Yeah.
they want this. And it's funny, they become statisticians suddenly and
Hmm.
they didn't know their stats. And it's crazy. But black women are the least type of top two is black women and white women who are the least to date out their race.
Hmm.
It's, know this, but white women, they barely even want to date out their race. They want to stick to white men, but they wouldn't know this, but they would fight to date white women. Even the white women wouldn't date, like fight to date out. And
Hmm.
black are also the same.
Hmm.
There's that there's a stat that says all men preferred Asian women, even black men preferred Asian women. And the least desire for that was for black women in the women's section. And for the men's section, it was all groups of women preferred white men, except black women who picked black men.
Hmm.
And the other hand, for the least preferred men, all pointed to black. And what about black women? They pointed to white men. We've been so race loyal, we don't want to date out. And, non-black men, I've heard many non-black men, even my husband told me that he said that he feared that I would reject them because he heard that, black women usually stick with black men and they don't date out.
Hmm.
And men, they know how black women are so race loyal. And every time a black woman and a white man are dating, he always points out how loyal she is.
Hmm.
And by nature, I don't know why, but we're so loyal to even our own community and even to our partners we're with. I
Hmm.
think it's this divine loyalty in us, but we don't usually date out. That's why many men don't prefer us because they know and they fear of being rejected by a black woman because we usually go for black men. But that's starting to change because you see more black women and white men here in Florida. I see more of them out more, and it's a change
Hmm.
basically. It's not because we're least desired, is because we don't want to date out, because we have this pathology and we're raised to think the black man is the only important thing. You as a woman, your only existence is to protect the black man, to please the black man, to be by the black man's side, and to fight white supremacy with the black man. But
Mm,
then you get a thank you of, screw you, I don't like your features. You're not feminine. Your features are not feminine because they don't fit the European standards. I'm
mm,
gonna use your money and go to a white woman.
It's 4 o'clock.
mhm. Now, that's something that I agree with. It's like a lot of times men of other races don't think that black women will find them attractive, and like they don't even see them, selves as an option for us because they just don't think we're interested in, non-black men. So yeah, I mean that could play a big role in it. Do you mind if I bring up AJ, AAG? I'm sorry, they are waiting in the back chat. I didn't want to interrupt you and just bring them on the panel.
Yeah, you can. No problem.
Okay, thank you. Hey AJ, thank you so much for coming up. How are you today?
Hello, and thank you so much. I'm fine. And you? How are
I'm
you?
do- I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. It's a little difficult to hear you. Can you speak up just a little bit?
Yes, I'm trying to speak up. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, I live in French. I'm
Mhm.
French,
Mhm.
and I learn English to school and YouTube video.
Mhm.
So I can't talk in English,
Mhm.
and I have a little problem with dating outside. I'm black girl. I'm 20.
Mhm.
I agree with dating outside
Mhm.
because I'm not close, I'm not exclusive to black men.
Mhm.
All women of my family is married to black men, and a lot of them are dusty. And the black woman try to save the image, try to save the couple, and they are masculine.
Mhm.
And I think they don't really appreciate the fact I'm more feminine because I'm dated outside men of color like Asian or more or white treat me like a princess.
Mhm.
And I have problem because I want to marry,
Mhm.
so a woman of my family is really really opposed to this marriage, my
Mhm.
wedding,
Mhm.
because the man is white
Mhm.
and he's and they I think a lot of black women, not black women in my family, are addicted to suffering. They can marry the high value black men,
Mhm.
but they turn off dusty black men.
Mhm.
And and this is addict to suffering. I discovered this name addict to suffering, and I do um, a real work, inner work on me,
Mhm.
and I guess I'm addicted to suffering because I was pro black. Who think fit? I was pro black man
Mhm.
because in pro black movement they only promote black men.
Mhm.
Never they take care about black women. They're suffering,
Mhm.
and I must protect myself because I get a lot of suffering about the black man. Black men do suffer me a lot of.
Mhm.
Uh, some out there are violent.
Mhm.
Some of them are harassment,
Mhm.
and some of them are psychological destructor.
Okay,
And
psychological destruction. Okay.
yes,
Mhm.
and for me, black men need to stop.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you so
Mm,
much. Mhm.
yes, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Aubrey, so much for sharing that because that's precisely what we are talking about when we talk about this abuse that a lot of us black women we don't know like we're being abused. Like we don't even understand it. We are saying that's just how men are, or men need to speak the harsh truth. Like the guys in the comments that are going at me say, oh, y'all are mad that men are speaking the truth. No, you're being disrespectful. You're being mentally, emotionally, and psychologically abusive. And you need to call it what it is. You can speak the truth without belittling and diminishing a woman's worth and value. You can speak the truth without attacking a woman's character or self esteem. Like you can speak the truth and provide solutions without totally destroying a woman's reputation, and we really need to be honest with ourselves and really look at how the type of treatment we are accepting, but on a wide scale publicly from black men. Like we got to be honest about the reality that we are in. Excuse me. We have to be honest about how we are being treated. That's just it. Like when you said, Aubrey, that your guy treats you like a princess. The reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because I need us black women to know that yelling is not healthy. It's not acceptable. It's not normal. Um, Cussing you out is not healthy. It's not acceptable. It's not normal. Calling you names, it's not healthy. It's unacceptable. It's abnormal. Okay? Putting you down, it's not healthy. It's unacceptable. It's abnormal. Like these are all things that are commonplace in our communities, online and offline. And we just kind of roll with the punches because, we are amazing black girl magic. We just go ahead and navigate through it. But these are not dynamics in healthy relationships. And when you expand your options and really go out here and meet people of different backgrounds, you will find that they don't yell. Not all people, but healthy people don't yell. They don't belittle. They don't diminish. They don't bash. They don't put you down. They don't try to poke holes at you or deconstruct your truth, your experiences, your statements. Like all of these relationship dynamics that we have become so accustomed to are not normal. They are abnormal. And we really need to begin to call out that behavior for what it is, and it is abuse. Now, you aren't being punched in the mouth per se. You aren't being, hit through the things that you are hearing online, but you are still being abused. Black women, we are in a perpetual state of abuse online because of the rhetoric of black men directed squarely at black women. They will tell you that women of other races, they will say this publicly and with confidence, that women of other races are better than you. This is the stuff that they say like out loud for other people to hear, for everyone to know that they said it themselves out their own mouth. They'll say these women are better than you. You are the lowest of the low. You are the bottom of the barrel, the bottom of the totem pole. They'll say all of those things, and that that is abuse in and of itself. All right. So thank you so much for sharing, Aubrey, because black women need to know that a lot of these relationship dynamics that we find ourselves in are totally abnormal, and it's not it is not commonplace once you expand your options and deal with healthier and healed men.
Can I just say something? They
Hmm.
say that, black women are not, submissive. Oh, the white women are submissive, the Latino women, the Asian women. We need to see women by nature, we're hypergamous, but we also, you know, submit to dominant presence. We submit to dominant men. And these women, they have men in their community that put them on the pedestal of beauty. Asian men put Asian women. They always go to Asian women first. Same
Yeah.
with white men. Same with Latino men. They always go for their women first. But in the black community, they always go for mixed women. They always go for white women. Like we're not even put on our pedestal. And a great man by
Mm-hmm.
the name of Malcolm X, they always be like, oh, black women, you guys, oh, back then, these women were submissive. We need to also know that back then, these women were going to men for, survival,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to survive. But also, back then, in the 60s, Malcolm X had said, in the 60s, the women submit there because the men were, respectful to them. The men made the women smile every day. They were natural. The men loved their natural beauty and their features. And back then, Malcolm X had said, if any man, if any white man put their hand on a black woman, we will fight for them. Notice he never said, "Oh, we're not talking about the independent black women. They could be touched. We're not talking about the hookers black women. We don't care about them." He said black women, meaning all black women. So these women back then, they had men who were willing to fight for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like we will fight for our women if any man disrespect them, if any man put their hands on them. That's why women submit there. But nowadays, our men be like, "Oh, I thought you were independent. You don't need a man. So no." Or they be like, "Oh, I only protect my family members, the women in my family."
Mm-hmm.
And your family resembles another woman up the street that you don't even know. That's your sister that you should see
Mm-hmm.
because she looks like you. And she's the reason, her sex, her organs are the reason why you're here.
Mm-hmm.
To say, "Oh, I only protect women in my family," or "You guys are independent." And it's funny too because you're generalizing all black women to being independent. Me, I even like feminism. Like I don't want to be associated with feminism. I don't believe in it. I don't know why black women are going into that movement. And nowadays we're not feminists. We're womenist. I still don't care. I tend to stick to traditional values,
Mm-hmm.
but they tend to like, "Oh, black women are feminists and this." That. You haven't met all black clearly, so you have no right to criticize us. But also, they're still part of your race. They're still part of the women that you should care for. The only reason why we're not submissive is because, like I said, we're not the beauty center in our community. We're shunned for our features. We're literally told, "Oh, you better earn your dominance. We don't owe you shit." That's what they said. They literally said, "Oh, black men don't owe you shit, or you need to earn it, and we're not going to let you stay home and this and that. You need to bring something to the table." You don't give us something. If you're going to complain about us, treating other races of men better than you, you should see why. We literally said we're happy with them and they let us rest in our femininity. Instead of taking notes and be like, "Oh, so this is how we will, get the submission from our women." We need to be more leaders in the community. We need to take action. We need to build. We need to respect our women. We need to love our women. We need to defend our women. We need to make our women the beauty standard. We need to provide a safe environment for our women and children. Instead of that, you're like, "Oh, they're treacherous. Oh, they just want to make the black men look bad. Or they don't like us, this and that." But you've been doing that for centuries. Like even they use wig and makeup. In fact, there's this thing. There was the first IR relationship was between a black man and a white woman during the Bacon Rebellion. No one know that. So black women didn't wear wigs and makeup at that time. So what's your excuse? And then literally 10 years later, after slavery ended, four of these men went to the Supreme Court to try to sleep with white women. Instead of actually going to fight for your people, freedom and rights, you went to lay up with the people who literally enslaved you 10 years ago, the womb of your oppressors. You have Stockholm syndrome. What's your excuse? There's no excuse because you've been wanting to date these women ever since before black women wore wigs and makeup. You're just using that up to cover your self-hatred and your whole excuse. And the road of your trails and pathology is showing, but you hate us if we call it out. That's simply it. You just hated being called out and corrected because you want it your way. You have an inferior complex. You want to be better than someone. You want someone to be under you. The whole Bible verse, "Oh, men submit to women." The Bible also said men submit to women and women submit to men, and both of them are So you should respect that. Don't be a hypocrite. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, thank you so
So
much, Lisa. Do you girls, hold for 1 second, Aubrey, do you girls mind if I bring another person up on the panel?
Yeah.
Okay, and what were you going to say, Aubrey?
I want to say black people in general claim the independent woman. They claim the independent woman because they don't want to work. They want to independent woman work for them,
Mm-hmm.
and she be the provider.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel this when I was younger, and now I'm 20. But when I was 17, I work I work hard in my house
Mm-hmm.
because we are a lot of, and I must work for everybody, be happy.
Mm-hmm.
I must um, f- um, f- um, take everybody happy, but not me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was some masculine, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And when I take off, I do burnout. Nobody can be here for me
Mm-hmm.
because they always can take energy of black women.
Mm-hmm.
They are toxic.
Yes, I get what you are saying, Aubrey, and that goes back to the hypocrisy that Woke pointed out in the comments earlier. You know, black men always tell us that our education doesn't matter and our money doesn't matter. They don't care how much money we have, but they want us to go 50-50 on the bills. If they didn't care how much money we earned, and you know about the degrees that we have, and none of those things matter, they don't add any value to us, then how can we be expected to pay bills and carry half of the household or more in some cases? In some cases, a man can't even provide half on the bills, you know, so that's that hypocrisy. And I understand what you were saying about putting everybody else's happiness before your own and taking care of everybody else before someone steps in to, you know, make things a little bit easier for you. That's why I advocate for you ladies to expand your options. You know, some black men are great, but expand your options. Really, you know, see all that this world has to offer us, okay? Like, you don't have to choose the struggle. You don't have to choose, you know, to work yourself to death, you know, just to stay loyal to the struggle. All right, choose better. They always tell us to choose better than the struggle. All right. Hey, Sherry, is it Sherry Danny? Thank you so much for coming up.
Hey Goldie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for coming up.
You're welcome, no problem. It's Cherie and I.
Okay, Cherie Danai. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, no problem. And nice to be on the panel with Lisa and Aubrey. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, babe.
Yeah, Haitian, Ayiti. Oh, I'm not fluent in Francais. That would be my daughter. She's fluent. I'm not fluent.
Neither am I. Oh well.
Well, Goldie, I'm so glad that you're doing this show today. You're doing this live. I just met you this week, and it was all because my daughter told me that there was two petitions going around to have the, son of perdition removed from the internet, but I didn't know where they were. And ironically enough, the manosphere told me who started the petition.
Girl, listen, ain't they funny?
Yeah.
Ain't they funny? And then you know they started a petition against me, right?
Yes, I heard.
Hmm. So I signed their petition to have my channel taken down, because what they don't realize is that their petition about having me removed gives my petition more light and attention. And whomever the decision maker is regarding the petitions or regarding the removals will see my petition and see that my petition is about the promotion of domestic violence, and begin to, take a look at the reason why I have petitioned and those people who have signed it. Like, they don't understand that they just promoted me like crazy and helped to give me more credibility and visibility with the decision makers. They don't get it. They lack critical thinking to the degree that they just knock themselves out of the running for so many different things.
Well, they are called the least educated group for a reason. So.
And I guess they want to stay that way.
You know what? That's so true. And again, I'm glad you having this live, because what I saw when I was talking about the Dark Night on my Facebook page was that as women, the women who did chime in, and myself, we were talking about real issues in the ADOS, or, descendant of American slaves in our community, right? What's going on with us as a people. We were having a real conversation about, domestic V and pedo and, HIV rates, and how when you go to the CDC, it says the largest growing group with HIV and AIDS is Black American women 12 years old to 25. And it also gives a breakdown as to how the CDC has come to know how it's being spread, right?
And here, I don't want to interrupt you. I want to hear what you're saying, girl, because somehow, keep going.
So what happened was, it was several years ago. It'd be about maybe 6 years ago. I went to go see Professor Griff when he came here to Chicago. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Professor Griff, but he used to be in Public Enemy. Yeah. Okay, so but
girl,
two young ladies, I don't know.
Yeah, I've been around these YouTube streets for a long time, girl.
Okay, cool, good. So I went to see Professor Griff, and it was a lot of controversy at that time about the statistic, and he brought it up, and he said 13 to 25. And I just didn't want to accept it. And I just kept pondering over that, about 2 weeks. So I said, because I was like, Griff, no, Griff, why you lied to me, right? So, but I went to the CDC for myself, and it wasn't even 13, it was 12. It's 12 to 25. And the CDC said that it was because of Black women, and we have to take some onus in this, that Black women are having too many boyfriends, coming out of jail, too many friends of the families coming over, too many of our relatives that's rotating in and out of jail and prison. Our cousins and our nephews, and and they don't have a place to stay, and we're letting them stay with us, and they're raping, our children.
How?
Now, these are not Sharita and I statistics. These come from the Center for Disease Control, right? And this is what the data they have gathered. Go ahead.
And I'm happy that you have your source, okay? Because for some odd reason, Black men want to deny the reality, right? And they kind of helped us get to this point to respond to them. For a long time, Black women have been keeping a lot of this stuff kind of secret, kind of hush hush, and not really speaking on the reality in terms of these relationship dynamics. But yeah, okay, when we talk about how that disease is spreading, let's really think about it. If Black women are the most race loyal, that means that Black women are least likely to date out with other races. That means that most Black women are usually or most likely having intercourse with who? Black men. So
right.
if Black women have the fastest rising numbers of that 3-letter disease that you mentioned, Who are we getting it from? That also means that they also have high numbers of that same three-letter disease. The difference between Black women and Black men, though, is that Black women usually go to the doctor more than Black men go to the doctor. And if you want to talk about access to healthcare, it's usually, I mean, there are state healthcare programs in every city. However, most Black women have a healthcare provider to where they go to, have medical, checkups, annually because they have jobs and have insurance and yada, yada, yada. So,
Right.
Black people really need to think about when they talk about those, diseases in Black women and how they are in such a high number. They also really need to think about where they're coming from and what that means for them.
Can I just like
Right.
um,
Go ahead. Go
sorry,
ahead.
sorry. It had nothing to do with it with this conversation. I was just reading the chat, and I noticed that some people are like being slick. Someone said, why is it that these men are saying, oh, these women are submissive? Like I said, women are mirrors of what they're given. If you put them in a positive environment where men are building and leading, they will be submissive and divine feminine. If you put them in a horrible community where the men are bashing them and they have 6 hours, one of these women are 6 hours of 6 to 9 hours of being KILL by these men, and these men say, "Oh, you guys are the reason why the community is failing." They're not going to be feminine to you. It's simple as that. The women have white men or Asian men or Latino men building for them, and so of course they're going to be nice. And everything that they say, Black women are this and that, or you guys have high standards. I'll be like, oh, I want a man who can be financially stable. I want a man who respect me. I want a man this and that. Your standards too high. You need to be realistic. But they give it to white women though, and then but they expect you to be submissive and feminine to them, even though they can't provide for you. And what do you think? Do you think we'll just be feminine and submissive to men who shame us and bash us? And Project Black Onyx, you don't have to be on this channel. You can always leave. And since this channel is full of lies, why are you on a channel full of lies? Bye. Go hop on your Godfather Kitten Samuel's I don't want to say the word cock or something. Like just fuck off.
Mhm.
No, the Antichrist. That's his name now. You have to get it right. Come on now. They said we telling lies. The Antichrist. That's who
Yeah,
he is.
yeah, okay. The anti dust.
Yeah.
You know what, ladies, our little platform is growing and like we obviously have their attention. BGS, thank you so much for coming over. BGS is well respected in the manosphere. He's like, one of the top dogs over there in the manosphere space.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who this Project Black person is, but let's let them rock out. Okay. We are not gonna restrict them or time them out, but we will ignore them. All right. Unless BGS wants to add something, constructive to the conversation. Other than that, we can just ignore them. All right. See,
Yeah.
the thing is that as much as Black men like to talk about how bad we are and how much they hate us, they can't stay away from us. They are always in our business. They are talking about Mr. Kitty, and he has built his entire platform, 1 million subs, and I think somebody said he make like 134K a week or something, because they be all up in his pockets and watching how much money he make and stuff. So they was bragging about how much money he made in some comments earlier, but all of that came off of the back of Black women. All right. He didn't
Yeah.
come up with no new technology. He didn't come up with no new shaking innovation. He didn't start no new plan. He didn't build any new infrastructure. He didn't do anything but turn on the camera and start talking. And starts speaking against the Black woman because he knows that that makes money. And that's where he got that 134 gajillion dollars. That's where he got it from. Not because he used brawn and brain and did something significant and impacting for the world, but just because he chose to belittle each of the 19 of us liars in this chatting on this stream. All right. So let's make sure that while we acknowledge Kitty Hills and his amazing growth and all of his million subs and his bajillion dollars, let's also acknowledge that without the Black woman, it wouldn't have been possible. Okay.
I'm gonna say it's for those people being like, oh, you making Goldie,
Now,
making your off hating Black women. Oh, that's just the way they are. Like I said, you guys started in the 2000s. We're just responding and defending, and now you can't take the smoke. You went sending attacks. You messed with the wrong group of people. That's how it is. You spit fire. You're gonna get a war. That's all I'm gonna say. So don't feel your feelings.
Can
Go ahead.
Can I break in for a minute? Let me say this. So I'm a woman of a certain age, and I remember being young in the 80s. And Black men were dogging Black women. Then Wesley Snipes did a whole piece, I think, in Essence magazine about how much he loved Asian women. And he went through, say, for instance, that the woman wants you to take the garbage. A Black woman's going to yell and scream at you and tell you, N-word, get up and take the garbage out. And he said, and he went as far to say, women are beautiful, but their attitudes are nasty. White women are ugly. So he just totally threw them away. But Asian women are beautiful, but an Asian woman will make love to you. And while she's making love to you, then she'll say, baby, you forgot to take the trash out. And I'm a young girl growing up, and guess what? I ate that. And I watched the women that were older than me eat that. And we've been eating it for 30 years, watching them grow up in the hood, grow up in Blackistan. Po mama is trying to turn 15 cents into $1, right? Making beans and rice, big old pot to feed everybody. Y'all forgive my accent. I'm from Chirac. And and then as soon as if he grows to be over 6 feet tall, he forgets about po mama down in the project somewhere on the south side of Chicago in poverty, and you look up while he's in college and he's with Becky and Susan, right? And we watched this and we ate this for 30 years. And so Kitten and Heels, baby, he thought he had blew up. He just came in at the wrong time because we're tired of it. We're sick of it. And we are bringing real issues. And I got a lot of these issues from men. Professor Griff, me listening to them when Black men were still stronger men. I respected men. I respected Khalid Muhammad. Where are they at now? They have passed away. And look at the change that has come. And with the advent of social media, it's like Black women are just like no more. You're going to tell the truth. You're saying we're not telling the truth. I think we do tell the truth. We have ate it and take it when they said all we do is twerk and wear pink hair and purple hair and this and that and talking about makeup and hairstyles while white women are doing this constantly. They got pink hair and purple hair and wearing pajamas and house shoes in the grocery store and rollers in there. But because their man built an infrastructure second to none throughout the world, they can do whatever they want to do, and it doesn't affect them economically, not at all, and nobody even puts their mouth on them.
Can I just say this whole Asian women are submissive thing? I noticed that parents, like Asian parents, teach and their sons to mate with especially the daughters to mate with white men. But how come it's the Asian parents the Asian kids who their parents don't claim and who's not the desirable in their community that goes for Black men? They know that their skin color will be praised by these men and that they will literally put their women, their counterparts, away for a woman who resembles their oppressors. And we all know, majority of the time, not saying all, clearly there's not everyone like that, but majority and a high number, Asians are the least anti-black people you would ever hear. One Asian was like, "Oh, Asia is an anti-N-word with the hard R on it." That's what he said. And the woman was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't want my kids dating a black man." And they don't know this. And like I said, and one thing they don't know is that their preferences are usually using them. There was this document when they talk about black women feminists, the mothers of feminism, white women told their true intentions. They're like, they stated that white women at the time was smarter than white men and more educated than white men. And they need to prove to their men that they're more powerful. Now, if they're going to talk about, oh, black women are masculine, this and that, you can see that these women, even though their men provide, protect, and, build communities, like the police is after and protecting them. Even they have all that, they still want to be over those men. They are the real masculine people. And they even stated in that document that, IR for them was a way to extend the black race for good. And plus, the woman was like, oh, since white women are more educated than white men, they have that over them. But they need to make sure, they need to make white men fear them. They need to make white men respect them and see them better than white men. And you know how, do you know how they would do that overall?
How did they do it?
They said that they want to dominate black men. They're like, if we as women can dominate the same men that you dominated during slavery, then you will fear us. You will see that, oh, these women, they dominate a whole group of men. Oh, they're scary. We need to fear them. That's what they said in that document. They said that sometimes they go to black men to prove to white men that, they're powerful and that they can dominate white men anytime, however. And we even see this. Poor Emmett Till. And a lot of times there's this TikTok video where these white women were crying and then they snap their fingers. It's like they're saying, we could do it anytime we want. And you prove it that they have men who protect them and provide for them. They can do whatever they want. And some black women makeup, there's literally videos of white women pouring pounds of concealer on their faces. But no one will say anything about that because they have whiteness. They're white. They have white skin. That's something that, black men always love. They love European features to get out their self-hatred mentality. They want a seat at the white man's table and be appreciated by white men. They just don't want black women calling them out because they want you to feel like you're least in them. They don't want to be corrected.
Mm-hmm. And that is so true. And like, I don't know why they think that black women shouldn't be able to adorn ourselves just as every other woman in the world does. Like, they want black women at such a disadvantage just to keep us available to them because they're like low-hanging fruit. One thing we know is that black men are not going to put in the work to like get to the next level. They instead of say it again.
Wait, Goldie, some dude, I'm gonna put this dude on silence now. Project Black Onyx asks black women always have attitude. Let me answer that since you want to answer that.
Okay.
So pretend you're a woman and then your male group look at you, look at your hair that grew out your head and have the nerves to be like, your afro nappy, it looks unfeminine, it's not straight, so it's not better, it's gross, it's masculine. Then they look at your nose, which resembles their nose, and say, oh, you have masculine features. They look at your lips and be like, oh, you have big lips. And then you say, babes or guys, I want protection. Or guys, you're men, you're supposed to protect your women. And then you hear men be like, oh, we don't owe you shit. Oh, you need to earn it. And then you like, oh, I'll stay home this and that. And you're like, no, you gotta be 50-50. But then and then you're like, okay, I'll stay home. And you're like, no, 50-50. But then they want you to work. They're contradicting. Of course we would have bad attitude. And who says it? A lot of black women. I'm not the only one. And guess what? Of course you would not listen because all you guys do is gaslight and pretend like nothing happened. When we tell you guys that, you guys bully our features, like the 2000s, there was barely no black women. There was a picture of a group of women with black dudes, and they were all non-black. And only one of them was black, but she had European features. And the funny thing is that they want, nowadays, you guys are telling us you don't like wigs. You want us to go natural. But when we go natural, a lot of black women can be like, you guys bully our hair. You still bully our hair. You tell us, oh, we like natural. But when we go natural, you guys say our hair is gross. Our hair is nappy. Our hair is damaging. We need to straighten our hair and put our hair in danger. And then you look at the features that resemble your features, and you have the nerve to say, oh, that's disgusting. Oh, it's gross, because you have the mindset of European is better, because you've been brainwashed by white people who tell you that their woman is better. White men are playing chess with you. You don't know that. White men are literally playing chess with you. They don't go for black women because they know we have this whole race loyalty mindset, and it's hard for us to date out our race. So they go for you guys because they know you guys want a sense of power because you're men. They go for the men, and they send their women to you guys to make you guys, blind. And like I said, you're saying definitely natural. That's you. You're in the minority. But a lot of black men say that black women natural hair is gross. When you guys say go natural, you mean go natural if you have 1A, which Asian women usually have, to 3C, which biracial women have. You don't mean type 4, because when we do go natural, you bully us and you bully everything about us. And you tell us that we look like bulldogs. But you want us to submit and be feminine to you when you're literally devalued and bullied your whole life, and you're just raised and told your only reason of living is to, protect these men, fight for these men against another group of men. Oh, these men are victims. Oh, you need to help them against white men. But these men don't even protect you. They bully you, they shame you, and they literally do the same thing back to back with other women that look like you. But you want us to be submissive to you and feminine? That's the thing. You never want to hear us talk. You always think we're attacking you. We're not attacking you. We're just saying that sometimes you're contradicting what you say. You can't want one thing and then you want the other. That's why our attitude's like that, because rightfully women won't submit to men who bully them and shame them and disrespect them. It's simple as that. White women will be submissive because they have their men doing the work already for them. They could do whatever they want. And they literally said they want to dominate you to prove themselves to their men. They don't love you for you. And it's sad because the women who were there for you, the women who cried and begging the white man not to hang you from trees, not to hit you, not to spit on you, those women were crying for you, while the white woman was already helping her men to do the same thing. The white women's tears caused a lot of you guys to die. But you won't know that because you think that, and talking about some of y'all need wigs, but that isn't Aggie. And that's the point. That's the point. You bully our hair, but you want us to go natural, right? You're literally proving our part right now. But you want us to be feminine and submissive, but you're still disrespecting us on this thing. And you can always get off this live because we don't owe you shit. You can always leave and go cry to your daddy Samuels, who literally want a whole BBC buffet to himself.
You know what?
See,
Thank you so much.
okay.
Do you guys
Go
mind if I bring someone else up?
Go ahead.
Are y'all okay if I bring somebody else up? Okay. I just want to say from one of the comments, they are always talking about all these available women and how, all of these women want them, but 53% of them over the age of 35 are single and childless. So make that make sense. All right. Go ahead, Sheree.
Goldie, one of them is stay in y'all place, really. So I had this comment where I said black women stay home, be feminine, don't care, don't fight for men, don't march, cook, clean, be good to your men, whether it's black or white, treat them like kings. And then a lot of black men were like, yeah, and stop wearing wigs. And then we're like, but that's what women usually do. Women focus on their hair and makeup.
Well,
So
we didn't start. Look, this is the thing about this whole weave and wig situation. White women have been wearing wigs and weaves for hundreds of years, and white men too. This is nothing new. It's just that it's their hair texture. But what we don't look at is the fact that we were brought here as slaves. We have tried to assimilate, and you can't negate that fact that we are not in our own lane, right? As much as we want to say foundational Black Americans and all this other stuff, we are not indigenous to here. We were brought here in a traumatic situation, and they act like they don't see these things. Go ahead.
But
Who was that?
guys,
Go ahead.
Sorry. Hello?
Yeah, let me welcome Miss J. Hey, Miss J, thank you so much for coming up to the panel. I love hearing your perspective. So I thank you so much for coming over to the channel. I hope you have subscribed, okay? And if
I
you
have.
have subscribed, I ask that you hit that notification bell. Anybody in the chat, in the clouds, whatever, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and get me away from these 350 subs because they dogging me out because I only have 350 subs. So if I can get 360,
Yeah.
I feel better. Okay, but I also want to let you ladies know that I'm gonna have to be shutting down in about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, I just want to give us a warning, and if I can come back again tonight, I'll be back. All right, but I just want to let everybody know. Thank you for coming up, Miss J.
No problem. I just wanted to say, I think we, especially as Black women, we're kind of falling for, um, I don't know the right word for it, but we're falling for a trick. Basically, every single woman on the face of the planet at some point in time tries to alter their appearance. It's just a normal thing. Like Asian women, they wear makeup to like make their eyes look more Western. Western women wear makeup to make their skin look darker. I mean, everybody does something to alter their appearance. It's nothing for you to go ahead and be upset about. They're simply throwing that out there because it's a way to hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When you respond to it and make it and let them know that it bothers you, they're gonna keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like when you were in
Right.
kindergarten,
Uh-oh.
freak out about it, and they kept doing it. It's just a way to get your attention. If you simply ignored it, they would move on to something else. They don't care about that. They're simply talking about it because they know it bothers you. Because
Mm-hmm.
they can feel the fact that you're letting everybody know it's an insecurity you have. Stop falling for it. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah,
They
Right.
don't
But
care about. I'm saying they don't
they
care
don't.
about you. They really don't.
I just want to say they don't. I agree with you. I just want to say this is that they are the most subjugated male group on the planet. And so they won't go toe to toe with their true oppressor. So the
mm-hmm.
only way that they can feel masculine is to come home and to dog the black woman or black women in their lives. That's
Mm-hmm.
how they feel like they have control. They also use their penis as a tool to create as many children as they can. That's about ego and male prowess. But they
Mm-hmm.
don't financially or emotionally or spiritually provide for the children, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
But
we get
guys,
up and
that's
we
not.
do those things.
I mean, I understand that, but I'm saying it's not our
Right.
job to make them fighters. If they're not fighters, they're not fighters.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Thank
not our
you.
True.
job to go. I'm just saying, but that's not our job to go around telling them, "Oh, you're subjugated." Okay, it's up to them
Sherry,
to figure out
Sherry,
how to do that. If they don't do it, then they don't do it. There's no point in you
That's right.
trying to tell them to fight white supremacy. Either they're going to do it or they don't. If they don't do it, then they don't do it.
But you know what?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Miss J. Like I said, I already told black women stop marching, stop fighting for men battles, let men lead, let men do this and that.
Yes.
But they still got mad. They're like,
That's
oh,
it's
oh,
natural. It's
you're
natural
trying to lead a
selection.
cult. You're
No,
trying to
I'm
lead
saying
a
it's
cult. And I'm like, I'm
right.
literally giving solutions. I told black women, be women, play women roles, and the men will lead, and the fate of the community is in their hands. Like, leave it out. But these men are still fighting and be like, oh, black women, y'all trying to form a cult now. I'm like, dude, we're literally giving what you want. You want us to stay home and be women. We're staying in our place. What's the problem with that? I guess because they would understand and listen to Kevin Samuels telling them to whip black women and discipline black women. We're not freaking like children. We're not kids. We're grown women. Like, no disciplining. Like, adults talk to each other. We're not hating on you. We're not attacking you. We just want you to build like men and compete with men and gain resources. We have no problem with you. We just don't want you making the whole problem of the black community and why it's failing right now on us. Like I said, we already said we want to stay home and be feminine, but you guys still have a problem with that. What else do you want
Because
from us?
they're no matter
We're literally
but
agreeing with you.
but no matter what you do, a certain segment are not going to be happy with it. So I'm saying you have to take that out of it and just understand. Yeah, back in the day, there were women who were saying, "Okay, yeah, I can go ahead and do it by myself." We're still being held responsible because some women went on Sarah Jesse Raphael in 1992 and said something about Darnell. I mean, there are certain groups where no matter what happens, you're going to take responsibility for that, or they're going to put that responsibility on you. You just can't take it personal. If black women stopped listening to Kevin Samuels and turning into his show, half of his audience wouldn't even be there.
I
Right.
want
So I'm
I
saying
want us to
the difference is stop trying to go after them, expecting them to change. It's in them. They're either going to do it or they're not going to do it. You harassing them, you telling them, I mean, we've been talking about this for decades and nothing's changed. So it's up to us to say, okay, you know what? This is who you are, and you just move on.
But you know
And
what,
Goldie, can I ask you for something, Goldie?
wait,
And
hold on for
women,
one
I
second.
want you guys to go on other platforms and tell the YouTube black women to, tell black women to not march and not to go to work anymore. Stay home, raise our standards, be educated, and we'll let the men figure it out. I'm already giving solutions, black men on the panel. I already said black women will be what you call feminine, and we'll see how it work out. We'll see what's the real problem in the community. We won't do your work. We'll stay in our lane, as you like to say, and we'll see what you do. We'll see the faith of the community. Let's see if black women hair will go natural and no makeup. We'll see if all those things, we're doing an experiment. We should do an experiment, test it out. Let's see
But we
if
already
black
know
women were the real problem, or you were just
but hair
trying to.
and makeup is not the issue in the black community. We already know that.
I know. I'm just
I
gonna
mean,
test their.
I know. I'm just saying that's just that you have to understand the difference between a talking point and what actual reality is. Hair and makeup has nothing to do
Right.
with what's going on.
But you
I
know
mean,
what?
it has nothing to do with it. It's just it's a talking point.
This
But I'm
is
saying we do have to change our standards though. We do choose people who have some questionable character. That's something that we can change. And we
Yeah,
don't
but
have
let
to
me
make
say
huge
this.
announcements.
But the reason why we choose so-called Pookie and Ray Ray is because, let's be honest, most of
There's a
our
lot of them.
so-called right, most black men are Pookie and Ray Ray, and you date where you live. You dating your
I mean,
socioeconomic group.
I'm not denying what you're saying is the truth. There's a large pockets where it's slim pickings. Yeah, that's true.
but
Now
let
Let's
me
go
now
through
they're saying
Detroit. Let's
we
go through Chicago. Let's go through LA. How many
now they're saying
so-called
Birmingham,
quote unquote?
we pick
Birmingham,
wrong.
Louisiana, Miami. I mean, it's a
it's
lot. I
everywhere.
mean,
And you know what? It's even growing in the cities that you are in. The city that I am in, I remember back where the black neighborhood, the hood was, in this particular area. And now the hood is almost taking over the whole city. So
because
like,
it's our culture. We the culture has permeated through not just the inner city. It's now in the suburbs, like you were saying. It's the music we listen to, the TV we watch. It's people who don't even live in South Central act like they're in South Central when they're living in like Boise, Idaho and shit. It's like it's a sickness that we have to
Yes.
really fix.
I'm
So
not
you're
gonna
right.
say that they said we pick wrong leaders or we need to stand out. And just know that women are not supposed to even leading. And
You're
it's
not.
not us. Other group of men don't look at us as the
human
problem. They look at you. Just so you know, other group of men don't be like, oh, these women are masculine. No, they're looking at you and be like, why aren't these men not leading? Because men by nature decide to lead. So if we don't have men leading, don't worry about us. Call out
It's
the man who's
natural
not leading. And
selection.
like I said, we're done marching for you. We're done, portraying this masculine, strong black woman stuff. Here's the baton. Take it. Since we're given the wrong leaders, the baton's out in the open.
Yeah,
Take it up
it was
and
a
lead like
mistake.
men.
It was a mistake on our end to stand up
Yes.
that way. It was a mistake. We need to take the L's of black women, and in our previous generations, we never should have did that because that just set a wrong
it made the
precedent. And
Yep,
now
they
just
said
and
black women
course
never take
correct.
accountability. We're taking
Yeah, and
accountability. It was our
just
mistake
course
for
correct and say,
actually
you know what,
marching for you.
I'm right. You're right. I
But
never
you
should
know
have
what?
stood up and said that. We never should have created Black Lives Matter. We should have just let y'all figure it out and just leave it alone. So now we
Yep,
know. So
black
leave
men,
it
we're
alone.
so sorry for creating a movement to march for you
Just
guys. We won't create movements anymore.
no,
We
just
won't,
find a different
fight
one.
for your
Find a different
battles.
one that
We
we
won't
can
fight
do
for
and
white
let.
supremacy because that's
Yeah,
really masculine. Women don't fight roles. We'll stop being masculine. We'll stay
that's
in
not
our
our
role.
job.
and you could do whatever you want. We'll, like I said, we won't fight y'all battles. We won't, love our sons. We'll tell our sons to man up, and we'll do everything and this and that. Like we said, it's not our business anymore. We'll stay home. We won't like call out white men if they do anything against black men. That's your job. That's men's job. That's masculine if we do it. We're taking accountability. It is our fault for marching for you, and you should march for yourself because you're men and men fight men, and compete with men.
Right.
We're taking
I
accountability.
mean, yeah,
Black
because
women
I,
never
I
take
got caught. I
accountability.
got
We're
caught
doing
up in that whole Black Lives Matter thing. I admit it. I got caught up in that.
Girl,
When
I
the
wasn't thinking
Trayvon
about
Martin
none
thing
of that.
happened, all those things happened. I got caught up, and I was like so super pro black, and we need to go
What?
and do. And then I realized, and I heard them from their own mouth say, "Hey, we ain't asked you to march for us. Y'all only doing it for dick and attention." And I was
Slap
like,
in the
"Oh."
face. Slap
I,
you
I
in
was like,
the
"Oh,
face.
I thought we weren't all totally different, level, totally different area." Now I realize that I stepped out. I take full responsibility. I stepped
Mhm.
out and
Well,
I
can
was
I
on a
say
wrong
this?
impression, and I pulled back. I'm like, okay, you know what? Cool. I'm not doing it no more, and I stopped.
I'm
I'm
Let me
not
gonna
let me
that
say
say
super
that
this
pro black I was
about
before.
feminism.
Yeah,
The whole feminism thing gets me, and feminism has many different sectors to it, and it can be problematic. But feminism began because white women wanted the right to vote in the early 1900s, the women's suffrage movement. But mind
and
you,
whole
you have to
property and
remember
all
that
the rest of that stuff.
that's right. The 15th Amendment gave black men the right to vote. No, or was it the 14th? So, but either way, we didn't have the right to vote. This is a misogynistic country that even white men honored black men before they honored their own white mothers. So, what is all of this about feminism? Now, you got white women that's taking it way to the extreme in some other areas, but that's how that began. And there were black feminists like Sojourner Truth and Ida B. Wells. In the beginning, they were fighting two fronts. They were fighting a front about their race, and they were fighting a front about their gender. We just wanted to have the same rights that every other citizen in this country has. That's how that came into fruition. So
But
I
that's the
Right.
need the
problem.
But
whole feminist to stop. Go ahead.
That's the
but
problem,
the
though.
extremists, get all the attention though, because the vast majority of women are not these hardcore feminists that gets that gets all the attention. The vast majority of people, black, white, whatever, they're not that way. But that's the ones who are constantly screaming about, slut walks and want to take, going around topless in marches and holding up stupid signs. Most women, they don't do that, but they, you get tagged with that label, even though you're not that way.
A,
So
a lot of them, if we don't notice, a lot of them are secretly misogynistic. Feminism, the original movement, like I said, I don't like feminism, the toxic mentality of it nowadays. But I saw the
yeah,
original movement for like rights and to be like, hey, we're humans with emotions. We're not your sex toy. That type of stuff. And like I respected it, but now I don't. And because it
it's
became
kind of
toxic.
like the whole gay people thing, maybe I shouldn't say that here, I don't want to get flagged, but it's like at some point in time they wanted to, like, not get beat up and like be able to get married and not get fired for being gay, and now they
Yeah,
want to like push that whole thing on everybody. Like, I have to accept the fact that you were a dude, now you're a woman, and you want to go to the bathroom with me, and it's like, no. It's
I
like, people
no, no,
take things way too far. And there's a very small percentage of them, but it's like everywhere you go, they have to shove it down your throat, even though it's like not even 1% of the population
I hope
is
like
transgender, but they're everywhere, you know?
I'll say feminism, like when I said their secret misogynist feminism was for equal rights. And a lot of these people, they don't want to be equal to a woman. They see you as lesser than. So they hate feminism
Right.
and they to be like, hey, you're a woman, I'm a man. Get on your knees, let me put my feet on you and don't do nothing. But she like, we're equal. And they hate that. They're misogynistic. They want to be over someone and controlling. But
Right.
I don't like the movement itself. I'd rather stick to
Mm-hmm.
traditional
Because a
values.
lot of the
Okay.
feminists, it's not so much that they're feminists, they just are hateful people. They're just mad. The
Yeah,
ones who get a lot of
right,
attention.
right.
And then everybody gets tagged with that. And it's like, that's not who I am.
When
You
you're
know, the
saying
ones who
because
take
I'm
things too far.
feminine, because
Yeah.
I'm a female, we should have equal pay. So if I'm an attorney and he's an attorney, or if I work in corporate America and he does too, and we're doing the same job, why is he getting paid more than me? And it even happens in Hollywood still to this day, because on that series, The Crown, the female actress who was the lead playing Queen Elizabeth, she found out in the newspaper that her co-star, right, who was a supporting cast member, he was making a lot more than her. So if
Yeah.
this is happening amongst the dominant group, what do we think is happening amongst black women, right? So
Look in the
we
comments.
are, if go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, look in the comments. They're talking about figuring out place. Oh, our place is only in the kitchen where you could slap us and we don't say anything. That's our place. That's what you want. You want us to be your beat up toys in your sex place too. Is that our place?
Most of the people, when you look at today's economy, if most of the women sat there and said, you know what, okay, we're gonna leave it all to you to pay everything, everybody be homeless because
Go
they can't
ahead.
afford.
Speak to it.
I'm saying, no, literally, if you look at it, they can't afford to. The basic stuff to run a house cannot be
That's
made
right.
with one income. I mean,
That's
70%
right.
of the people could not afford it. So it's like they're talking mad nonsense. If you sat there and said, yeah, okay, I'm a wife, I'm quitting my job, I want to stay at home and support you and the kids and cook and clean and make sure the kids get good grades. It sounds really good to the first month that all those bills fall on one shoulder, and all of a sudden that tune will change. So it's like I don't even pay attention to that kind of nonsense because the numbers don't add up. The same thing with this whole conversation of the high value man or woman. That's 10% of the population. Nine out of 10 people are talking out their neck. It's not even a point of having a serious conversation like that because most people, most families, men and women, cannot afford it.
I feel like the
Not unless you
whole
want to live.
reason
Not
why,
unless you want to live in the hood getting shot at every single day. You
that's right. But I feel like this whole conversation is even coming to fruition now because they're starting to watch the numbers. They are watching that black women are starting to swirl and divest. They cannot reproduce themselves without us. That's what this is really
They've
about.
been saying
This is
they've been saying this stuff
to,
for decades. It's the conversation. They have to talk shit about you. That's the way our culture is. We don't
yeah, but
uplift
I'm
each
seeing way
other. We
more
tear each other down.
vitriol. I'm
They've
seeing
been like
way
this.
more
It's just online.
vitriol now. Go ahead, go
I'm
ahead.
saying I'm saying I before this kind of stuff, they've been talking this kind of mad shit about us. They did it in music, they do it on in movies. That
Right.
now social media is bigger, so more people have access. But every single medium that's available, this is kind of what it is. We're the only group. I mean, look at how much money for example, Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's literally a billionaire. And how did he make all his money? Portraying an older black woman as in his
Right.
mannish ways and making a complete fool out of the person. That's how he made his money.
Right.
And
And I'm
they,
just saying, it's not new. They've been dogging us for like forever. I
and
mean,
that's
Eddie
Right.
Murphy made movies, make it clowning us. Martin Lawrence. I mean, what is it? The Wayans brothers, Jamie Foxx. I mean, it's like this is just now the new way to clown us, but it's always been this way. So I mean, it's not about divestment. This is just how they are.
And that's the thing. When we try to point it out, like be like, "Oh, you guys been doing this to us for years. You guys did in the early 2000s to us." They gaslight it, and they're like, "Who hurt you? You guys hurt us, you freak. That's who hurt us. Like we're literally trying to tell you you've been disrespecting us, and then you literally been bragging. You let non-black people shame us and shun us." And every time when we try to speak, you're always labeling us the angry black woman, or you're just bitter. You literally never listen to us. But then when we're finally fighting back, you guys want to say, "Oh, we hate y'all and we are being masculine." We've been crying and begging for you guys to stop bullying us, and we've been begging you to like fight other people that have been talking about your women. Men fight for their women. We literally been telling you guys, can you like not let them do this? Guys, we need you guys to like not talk bad about us. We love you guys, and you guys love us back. And it's desperate. It's desperate,
But
and trying to realize that
they're not gonna do it. So I'm saying every generation has to kind of learn that lesson anew. That this is what they do.
they
So
they
there's
love
no point in asking. Just move on. I mean, they're not gonna change.
they love
They're
But
not.
I
This
really
is just what they
appreciate.
do. It's like
I just want to say I really appreciate you, Goldie, for having the courage to put out the petition. I appreciate you for having this live stream today, and I hope you can keep this up. So, because we need a safe space where we can come and talk. They have the manosphere and they have the kitten in heels, and we need a safe space where we can come talk. And I like the other sister here. I don't know your name. Uh, I totally agree with you. We have to stop begging them. We have to just turn our faces from them, continue to do what we're doing. There's only a segment of us that's twerking and doing all of the wild stuff that they're talking about. But Goldman Sachs would not have joined with other venture capitalists to give Black women $1 billion over 10 years, investing in Black women entrepreneurs if we wasn't a growing segment that was profitable. Believe that. So that's what we need to continue to do. Continue to get our education on, continue to be good mothers, and continue to move forward. I saw a Black single mother who bought a water treatment plant, and that made me go, And some white company came along and wanted to buy it from her for $75 million. She was just a single Black mother with 3 little boys going to their school. And she said to the principal, you don't have a financial literacy course here at the elementary school. And the principal said, well, if you want one, then you start teaching one. So she started educating herself on financial literacy. And this is what she did. This is who we are. We are the daughters of Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman. And we move forward. Don't keep begging them. Don't keep trying to tell them, I love you. They know that. Let it go. Move on. Do what you have to do.
I do not love them collectively. Okay. I love the ones in my house like they love the ones in theirs. Okay. But let me say something.
The narratives about us is not even new. They've been talking about our hair going back centuries. They've been talking about us in a sexually negative stereotype going back centuries. None of this shit's new. It's like once you learn it, it takes the sting out of it. And you realize this is just a fucked up thing that's been passed on from generation to generation. I don't even think a lot of them even know where it comes from. This Jezebel harlot thing has been put on us for like forever. So it's like twerking is now the term they put on it, but it's like it's always been there. We've always been labeled that. And it's just like once you understand it, you're not gonna take it personal anymore. It's just there's no point in taking it personal because these are to you even if you don't have that particular behavior.
Yeah, I find
and you can't take responsibility for something someone does you don't even know, and they're trying to put that burden on you. Someone out there is doing something stupid, so you have to go on and correct it. Otherwise, you're taking responsibility for it. But on the flip side, they're not out there taking responsibility for a knucklehead thing that some dude on the street does. They will quickly say, "No, that's not us. Oh no, we're not like that. That's what you choose. We're not one of those people." So why am I taking responsibility for some stupid thing some other person does? I don't know. Just screw.
They're like,
these ladies. Okay, I got 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna get ready to head out, okay? But one thing that I feel that I agree with Miss Cherie on is that it's important that we do have spaces where we can have these conversations. And now that this petition is out there and yada yada yada, I'm gonna speak. Okay. Yes, Miss J, I get your point. I can ignore them, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna call them out on everything that I see that's hypocritical, and I'm gonna continue to do that. And I'm gonna speak loudly about it, and I'm gonna say something. And regardless of if they change or not, I'm gonna say something. And when Miss Cherie was talking about Goldman Sachs and stuff, like silence is compliance in other people's minds. If we are not calling out the hypocrisy of the black man, the failings that are obvious to everybody, how they are, leaving us holding the bag while they're criticizing us X, Y, and Z, then it seems as if we are complicit right along with them to those who are on the outside looking in. And the reason why they were able, the Goldman Sachs or any other opportunity that comes our way collectively, are able to see a distinction between the two is because we have separated ourselves. When we think about education that they don't value, clearly black women value it, and other people notice that. When we talk about those traditional values, family and marriage, clearly we value that, and other people have noticed that. And so, I understand the sentiment of silence and all of that type of stuff, but my days of being silent are over. We did, well, y'all, a lot of black women did too much standing on the front lines, like somebody said in the comments, crying over dead black men, to now be silent on this social abuse that we find ourselves in. So now that we are being socially abused in public in front of everybody for the world to see, I'm going to speak out about it. And I thank y'all so much for joining the panel and helping to get the word out. Like, this is not the petition thing. It has my name on it, but this is not just me. It's all of us who want to stand against the social abuse, and that's just what it is. So at 5:15, I'm gonna let it out. Okay, so y'all do y'all thing. I just want to give, and y'all see I went over again. I always do that, but at 5:15, we gonna end, and then make sure you subscribe to the channel, set the notification bell so you will know if I go live again tonight. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
But
Bye-bye.
anybody, you guys can, if you want to say your last words or whatever, that's fine with me. I just wanted to let you guys know that in 5 minutes, I'm going to have to run out this house, okay? Because I have something that I need to do before 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
I just want to say this.
If you want to come
I-
back, that's fine too.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
I just want to say, black women, you stay strong, you hold your head up, you don't take this criticism and make you feel bad. You are amazing, and you keep doing everything that you're doing, because everything that they're saying that you're doing is a negative. It is a positive. You are the most educated demographic in this country, and you continue to do that. And don't let some old butt man come get you at 18 to 24 years old. I'm out.
Thank you so much for coming up, Cherie. I hope to see you again soon, okay? Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and see you later. Thanks for inviting me. Accepting me.
You know what, Miss J, I just love you so much. I've been around with you for a little while, so I just appreciate you coming on up and sharing some of your knowledge with us today. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And set that notification bell so you will know if I go live again, and you'll be able to come on up again, okay?
Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome. So thank you for everyone for joining the panel and the channel, the chat today. This social abuse is a real thing. Like black women, we need to understand what position we are in today. We are being socially abused, and we really need to call it out for what it is. All right. This petition is not about Kevin and BGS and them in particular. Okay. This petition really is about standing against the promotion of domestic abuse, domestic violence, social abuse, all of that. We'll get into emotional and mental abuse that we are also going through with these men in these online communities and in daily life. But today we're just talking about this idea of social abuse, and this abuse is being inflicted upon every black woman in the country just by the words and the sentiment shared by BGS and them. Okay. Let me read some of these. How come I looked over here to this chat and it said KS got ED too? Like, y'all over here tripping. Y'all over here tripping in the chat. Yes, congrats for dating out. Y'all date out. Go get y'all some non-black women, please. Y'all, if y'all pay attention, a lot of their stuff is reverse psychology. Like they keep trying to scare me about speaking and stuff, saying that they're just read my comments. They are trying to scare me, and it's just reverse psychology because they are so shook and just shocked that somebody said something about them. But the other day, Big Daddy Samuels said that other women, other race women are getting black men because they have good sex skills and they put these good sex skills on them. And that's just reverse psychology to keep black women doing flips and tricks in the bedroom for these black men who, by the way, okay, are 53% single after the age of 35. That is more than half of the American black male population that are single above the age 35. So, black woman, if you want, you can go ahead and keep flipping and turning tricks in the bedroom for a man that's not going to marry you, or you can expand your options and see that black men just can't be happy. Like, I don't think any woman can make them happy. But since we know that black women don't make them happy, let's give them an opportunity to go and pursue their happiness elsewhere. You know, they say that if you love a person, you want them to be happy. And it's a lot of black women that say that they love black men. Like they always talking about, oh, we love black men. We love black men. They always saying that, right? If y'all really love black men, let them go. Let them be free and let them pursue their own happiness. Because loving someone is loving them enough to allow them to be happy. So let's let them be happy. All right. So y'all see BGS, who is a grandfather, okay? I don't know how many years away he is from being a senior citizen as well, but BGS is a grandfather, and BGS is talking about how many of us are in the chat. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my channel and set that notification bell so that one day we'll have, you know, an acceptable number of viewership and subscribership for BGS and them to think that our words are worthwhile. Okay, it's a lot of people, even these crazy little kitten cheerleaders, coming around saying, "Oh, girl, you got 300 subscribers," talking about Big Daddy Samuels. And my thing is just because I have 300 subscribers, does that make domestic discipline okay? My 300 subscribers, does it make domestic discipline acceptable? Is that what you're saying? That because I only have 300 subscribers, then it's okay for a man to put you over his knee and spank you with a belt? Like, girl, grow up. Anyway, I love y'all. I'll let y'all know if I go live again later on. Talk to y'all soon. Thanks for coming by. Bye.